It is TV powered by World Sports Betting. It is Times, the CEO.za. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is just a check-in with both Lindo Pep and Tso Vilakazi as well. We'll cover a quick topic for the next 10 minutes, quick chit-chat. It's our way of telling you that we are still alive. Yeah. It's been 10 days since we last shot the last video. We are enjoying processes. Mr. Tso, how are you doing?
Mr. Kiyomishan fit.
Mr. So and so.
Pep Guardiola.
Lindo Pep.
Lindo Pep.
Yes, sir.
Ngibusela nemakhaya ngicela support njalo like Tiski TV. Njengoba nje njalo ngijiki futhi.
Akuyibeka siyazikhulumela nje. We are checking in with our people.
Yazi Mr. Kiyo ezinye izinto belo align nazo ngoba mawuba in general talk babuye bacabanga ukuthi normal engathi sekakwenye indawo.
Mr. So and so.
Yeah, so they need to remember ukuthi normal injalo ayijiki futhi.
Ikuphethe kanjani coaching Mr. So?
Yeah, coaching is nice, Mr. Q. It's nice
Technical director.
To spend time with the boys, understand again ukuthi these kids, they're not like us before. They need more time with the ball. Tina besikule strategy already. It dribbling besiyazi
already
what
trained.
you want and. So with them, uyathanda ibhola, udlala esikolweni, akanaklapu, he's lazy to go to training. So you have to deal with all those things. I'm trying to take it, but coach, you cannot come and be physical like this to me. I mean, we're just training, nothing serious. So there's a lot of things, Mr.
Banamalungelo abantwana Mr. So.
Yeah, so it's when that's where this part of being a parent comes in again, kick in, when you're dealing with kids to say, look, this is how I will treat my kids.
Mr. So emzini omnyama niyasayina.
Yeah.
Ngifuna ukuthi sixoxe ngalokho kancane nje ukuthi you've signed Sipho Mbolezo Orlando Pirates. You've also signed Oswin Apollos, which is a good signing.
Yeah.
Well done to Orlando Pirates. And of course, Saboyanela Mbutuma, Kwaiba. There's other players as well. I think there's a player from Mali as well there. Got a new coach as well as Orlando Pirates. Abdeslam Wadu. When you look at this like in full picture, so do you genuinely think that, okay, lama signing la actually ukuthi nizama ukungena kwi-league. Last season, of course, you had a brilliant season. Semi-final, Champions League, number 2 in the league. A very, very good season, in my opinion. Second best team in the country. What do these signings tell you about intention in Paris?
Mr. Gil, one is that I'm pleased with the way Paris have acted. I always say this, and people will look clearer when I say this. Football, especially a game, will give you questions. And at the very same time, when it gives you questions, there's answers. It's up to you when you're watching the game that can you see these questions? Can you see the answers? So Pirates, for me, they've watched the season. They've watched the games. They've seen those questions. They come with answers.
You could argue that because I think they have the 3 best South African players.
Yes.
Mufugeng, Maswanganyi. Okay, Nkota, I wouldn't put him above Utebo Khomokwena, for example.
Oh, yeah.
As a South African player.
Yeah.
But the 2, so if you have Unkota, if you have Maswanganyi, if you also have Apollos, Mauti wena bebabheka ama questions, manje baza nama answers.
Yeah.
One of the biggest questions, now Paris have done well in this transfer window.
Yes.
There's no question about that. In fact, Bashaili Zandla, everyone is talking about how well they've been doing.
Yeah.
Now, the other question is, Maukipa Lows or Fagaban. Like, if you have Apollos, for example, where does it play? Umbule, there was a need because they needed a midfielder who passes the ball forward. And you already know that either Umbata or Makaula, one of them is going to eat the bench because of Umbule, because it's better than them in terms of talent. When you look at those forwards, Abo Muremi, Abo Kwaiba, even we were discussing it, center forward, Masosana Mbutuma, for example, what are you going to take out? Let's deal with that question. It's not a negative thing, actually. It's questions and answers. What questions were they answering, given that they already had good players up front?
You know what happened, Mr. Gil, last season, especially in the January period. That was the moment where they were supposed to beef up the team. And I even said that I think the reason why they didn't beef up the team, they never thought we could go Champions League, they would go that far.
Yes.
They never thought of this.
Semi-final.
So to them was like, no, we're playing money. our team is not strong enough to take us, further. But the players, everyone surprised the management in terms of their performance and the way they've achieved in terms of getting to the semi-final. And now, that's why I said earlier, they've watched the game, they've watched the season, gave them questions, and then they come with answers to say, "Oh, look, we don't want the very same problem that happens in January period where we are supposed to beef up the team to soldier on for a CAF Champions League." Because at that time, that's why we had a lot of questions to say, why? Because you can see the team is doing well. Why you didn't do that? Why are you not signing players? Because you can see the team is doing well. They're going all the way. But now I think they've realized, they've seen that, you know what, let's rectify this. Let's fix our team now so that we can challenge for the league. We've got the depth of good players. We can balance them playing the league and playing the Champions League.
Yeah, Lindo, I'm sure also now you're impressed with the signings of Paris. Let's talk to their signings. What was your perception when you see so many of those players, 9 players, a lot of players, but some quality players in there, Apolis, Mbule as well. Those two are really marquee signings. And then speak to the idea, because of course, Lizzie Dollars in 2 on the left and right, you can't sacrifice their career at this point.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Nkeu, there are two critical things when you're talking about the Orlando Pirates, and the first thing is the coach. For me, in those two critical things, the coach needs to learn. So, is that it's not about tactics at this moment. Obviously, we will have an opportunity to speak about how he plays after watching 10 of his games. But I think for me, it's game management, squad management, and ensuring that he can deal with the stress and the pressure of the club after the previous coach. But when you're talking about the Orlando Pirates, so I do agree with you. They are answering questions that they had, more especially in January. But I think there's more depth to the Orlando Pirates story than just winning the league. I think there's 4 competitions that they're competing for, which is the CAF Champions League. I think they are really obsessed with winning domestic competitions because they know what it has done. They know the South African public. They understand what the Orlando Pirates fan needs. Obviously, the first mandate this season is to win the league. You look at the squad depth as well, is the composition of that squad, Mr. Tso. They've got Mbule, they've got Apolis, they've got incredible attacking emphasis in that squad. How do they want to play? In my opinion, they've got a variety. They can obviously use Mbogaz as a left back if they can, because for me, there's only 2 signings that don't make sense from that 9. It's the 2 fullbacks, Nkosi Konandaba and the boy from Baroka, in my opinion. Because they've already have exceptional, I think they've got 4 right backs if you look at the composition of that squad. The midfield is the one that fascinates me because last season, Orlando Pirates, I think they were listening to the public, the media. They were looking to control the game. There's lack of creativity, more especially from the 2 that play closer to the box. Because from wider areas, so they are very deadly. They've got one of the best attacking players in the league. But the creativity in midfield, the control, the arrogance, so you are bringing in Mbule. He offers you something completely different. You've got the boy Umasindi Nemtajera as well, from Marumo Kalans, who's exceptional in terms of arriving late in the box. You look at that composition. For me, so how they use these 2 midfielders. One thing I want to say to the Orlando Pirates coach is we really want to see the 2 8s, or the 2 10s, if you want to call them, being a little bit creative, being influencing the team. Can we see an 8 that controls the game? And that's exactly what they have in Mbule. They have match winners in that Orlando Pirates team. How they start is very important. The depth of the team, like I said to Wenato, for me, where I want to see the Orlando Pirates coach is not the tactical part, because I feel that the composition of that squad, the tactical setup has already been there. It's about continuation. That's why I'm going to change the technical team. That's why No, you can completely that's why they're not changing the technical team. So there's continuation in that. For me, what is critical, he's got 4-3-5 left backs, 4 right backs. Game management, squad management. He has to deal with those players. He has to manage those players. Because some players will not be happy being on the bench. That's what he has to deal with.
I need to ask Tso this question. You will know this, Tso. Quality players, what kind of management would you need from the coach himself? Because obviously, I think Pirates, they've done really well in signing. But it is also true that Pirates was the 2nd best team in the country. So that means they already had really good players that placed them to be number 2, and they went to the semi-finals of the Champions League. No, I'm going to give him this microphone, don't worry. I just want to ask you, Uguti, who manages a squad? Because with Sundowns, we always laugh about it, Uguti. They have a 2nd team on the stands that can become number 2 or number 3 in the league. So that's going to be a new headache for Orlando Pirates as well.
Yeah, you know, football, Mr. Keo, there's one thing I've learned in this game is it veza your personality, who you are. And that personality, you is how you handle other people, how you handle the squad, how you handle in terms of big players, the young boys, and ordinary players. In this case, Coach Wadu, it's going to be very difficult. I'm telling you, it's going to be very difficult because we're talking about Unduli. He's been a seasoned player. Seasoned
Forgot
player.
about him, actually.
You know,
My
that's why it's going to be difficult for him. We're talking about Umbata that Magnus select the national team. He's there. We're talking about Umaketleli. When you look at the stats, he's the highest player in terms of the covering of the distance in the game. At that age, again. Then you look at Mkwaiba did very well for cheaper. Let's not take it that for granted. We look at Apolise when the Bafana is playing, first lineup is there. And you've got Ungota, you've got Mufukeng, you've got Umaswangani, you've got Tumbule. It's all about him as a coach to talk to the. Yeah.
How does that coach manage that?
You know what, Minato? This is what I think, Mr. Nkyo, right? I think that more especially the management, Mr. Nkyo, I think the technical team of Orlando Pirates is going to be very influential for Pirates to do something this season. Because you look at that composition of the squad, they understand that in the Betway Premiership, they normally play against teams that have a low block. Yeah. So what do they need now? They need midfielders that are very good on the ball. They need wingers that can dribble to eliminate. Yeah. They need people to take shots outside the box. But the Champions League is completely different. That's why...
Lindo, whatever the profile of those players are, it is true that they were good where they were coming from.
Yeah.
Of them. The Pirates, which was already good.
Yes.
You can only play 11 of them.
For sure.
And this is the crux of the question. Is Pirates going to look like Sundowns, which has top goal scorers on the stand outside of match day 18? And are they ready to accept that?
I think they are ready to accept that, Mr. Tso. I think they will approach competitions completely different, Mr. Nkyo. I think how they will approach the league, if they are playing, for an example, Emakesi, they will use two creative number 10s that are very decisive and very, they are killers in terms of how they position themselves on the pitch. But when they play against the pyramids in the CAF Champions League, they've got Umakaula, they've got Undul. They can consolidate a little bit, understand that sometimes they can sacrifice the ball. When they are playing a cup competition, for example, they need two strikers. Maybe they need something different. They need a fullback that overlaps, maybe bring quarters from deep. Because that's another thing that Orlando Pirates never used to have. When they get into wider areas, that ball that goes diagonal, they didn't have that. So maybe a tactical variety in their game. I think that's why they are bringing in those players. Because Umremi is a completely different winger to Mfukeng. Yeah. If they need a winger that can come inside to overload, but Umremi is a winger that can play on the line. So sometimes maybe when they want to stretch the field, they can use Umuremi, they can use Apolis. Apolis is typical winger that plays on the line. We've watched him, we've seen his best pass, Mr. Tso. It's the diagonal ball that goes to Saling, the diagonal ball that goes to Nkota. You know, so when I see...
So in other words, then, those players, so I need to ask you this. John Mabausa and Apolis, Nabomuremi, are you saying to them, we have two good white players here,
yes,
you guys are going to be behind them?
Yeah.
Even if a police cost them 10 million, for example. So can you tell a 10 million player that you are coming here, but you're going to be behind Nkota?
Unfortunately, they have to deal with it because there's no reason why we're going to bench Nkota. He's been doing very well. And why should we? Obviously, King of 2000, without him in that lineup, there's no team. So the rest, they just have to work hard, wait for the chance, and then use their chance. That's all. In football, it's all about just wait for your chance. Because even the coach, none of the coach but if you get to a team, the only player that I will say, he will be lucky to own a position. It will be Mbule.
He needs to earn it, so in my opinion.
No, I'm just saying.
Most of those players need to earn it. Even though Police, I don't think he goes straight into the Orlando Pirates lineup. He needs to earn it, in my opinion.
You know why Mbule will be lucky? Because the Pirates have got two central midfielders, of which for me it's one and the same thing. So having Mbule and bench one of them, it will give you an edge in terms of the creativity part that we're all looking for. But now, the rest, the other ones, it's not easy to really take that decision. It's not easy. Ukuthi, we can say, line up namhlanje siyayiqala manje Pirates. You can put police and put
Yeah.
It's so difficult to do that. But in the middle, you can't do it. You know, sometimes you bisinokumbona Jose akipa uMakhetleni afake uNdlondlo. Or amkhiphe afake uKimvidi or afake uDlamini bamkhiphe uMbatha. For bona it's easy to play around because they used to be out. You know, compared to the two that we all know what in this lineup Tso vele ngamfake nje lapho. So these two we know they are there. So in the middle, that's why I'm saying Umbule will be lucky to just get in. Will be lucky. But other than that,
He's a very good player.
very good player. I love
If I'm the Orlando Pirates coach, Mr. Nkeu, I'm not changing anything from what Jorge Rivero has done last season. I'm continuing. The 9 players that came into the Orlando Pirates, they need to earn their stripes at Orlando Pirates. For me, if you give Umbule the starting 11, no matter how much I love the boy, for me, he doesn't go there. You believe.
Umbule walks in there. He's better
Now,
than those two midfielders.
you know that's
Problem is the work, like the recovery of the ball.
Yes.
He's better than those two midfielders.
For sure, 100%. But in my opinion, I feel that with how they need to train him psychologically, Umbule,
yes.
I think they're going to have to. I think he's going to have to work for it. Even though no matter how talented it is, if an analento Tso ukuthi Jimin, is star player sakoma singezi riding, elentuze Jimin, and then you field him. It happens even in amateur football.
Yeah.
But that kills the team. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Umbule needs to understand that I think he's going to realize when he gets to Orlando Pirates that that's a massive club. And for me, I like the type of midfielders that they sign at Pirates because the message was very clear last year. Control football games.
Yes.
The system wins you football games.
Yeah.
Because already playing percentage football was putting you guys at a disadvantage because you would draw matches that you were not supposed to draw. So the system is something that they need to rely on. Because also, they've got players who can win games. They've got match winners. You've got the Rilem Fukeng who's a match winner. They've got Tito Maswanga who's a match winner. On the bench, you have a match winner in Umsipho Mbule as well.
All right, thank you guys. I'm going to wrap it up 60 seconds with you. I just want to do a quick update with the number of people we have. 1,500 people on our Facebook. Thank you. 1,400 on Facebook and then close to 800 people on our YouTube. Thank you so much. It's just a catch up to tell you that we are still alive, although it's pre-season. We're taking a break like everyone else. We're going to shoot videos now after this live video. I'm going to ask Lindo about, but not in this video, about Temingosiloch. What do you do with him? He's back at Sundowns. And I'm also going to ask you if you think Ribeiro will leave.
Yep.
I want to ask Tso if Chiefs sign Uspesi Ndlovu, does it make it a decent window? We can't even talk about those players that they've signed because we don't even know most of them. We can't. We would be trying to steal views from people if we spoke about the Chiefs players. Let me wrap it up with you guys then, 60 seconds or 2 minutes with the two of you. Having looked at Sundowns, we've just spoken about Pirates now for 15, 20 minutes. Having looked at Sundowns, also let me say that Pirates has hands down won the transfer window so far with the players that they've signed. We don't know if they will be successful at the club, change of environment with some of the players, but they've hands down shown their intention. They've spent the money, so well done to Orlando Pirates. This is not even a criticism of this video. We were just talking how are they going to fit in the team and so on. We saw Sundowns good Club World Cup. We saw that they are a level above Ipetwe Premiership. They've always been in the past 8 years. Do you genuinely think, I'm going to start with you, Lindo, and then so you'll wrap up the video. Do they still need to sign Sundowns? Like in this transfer window, there's an expectation, man, now Sundowns is signed up. Maybe Pasadine, maybe, but do they really need to sign 4 or 5 more players? And then we'll wrap it up.
In my opinion, we need to sign. Mamelodi Sundowns, in my opinion, needs another killer who's going to play next to Ribeiro. Even sometimes off the bench, in my opinion. I think a number 10. A number 10 that will offer Mamelodi Sundowns 2 things. One player that can play with his back towards goal. One who can find a red carpet pass. And I find that we only have a Ribeiro. If you have another one, I think you can have a killer team. Left back, I think, is a necessity because Mo Opri can play as a midfielder. Ulunga, you need a creative left back, in my opinion. So I think you get a Pasadine, you find maybe another creative, spend another 60 million, in my opinion, to find a really, really, really special player.
So it'll be 1 or 2 for you?
1 or 2 for me, in my opinion. You don't need a lot.
Thank you, Mr. So.
Yeah, I think they need a really goal scorer.
But we've seen, that's why I'm referring to Ikra World Cup. We saw about Ikram Reina scoring at the highest level.
Yeah,
When I look at them, I'm like, this is it. They are above.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to win the league again.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw in the Club
Yes,
World Cup.
yes,
So I
yes.
don't know, why would they need to sign more?
No, just you know, sometimes Mr. when I know that it's only me, sometimes it gets to the head of the players. Because when you look at that striking force, already now it's runners. Because Shalulile is, it's about maybe he's gonna be out of the picture. Because I think his contract also is up. And
But it's still 2 years.
2 years. Then, unless if Shalulile will pull up his socks. Other than that, if he's not going to pull up his socks, they need somebody that will help Renas. Because there's games where I think they can take out Renas and put a killer. Somebody that will just going to finish up.
Pesitao is on the market.
You see. You can also call him back.
Former Sundowns player.
Mailula, you can also call him back. Those are the players that they can also give you what you want in terms of creativity and scoring goals. And then the last one will be obvious. I mean, we can see that Coach Abamzusi Umudiba on the left back. So get Pasadin. Then now put Umudiba in that middle left. And then let's see what is that they can give you. Because I think if you can have that Pasadin and then have Uluntuzana, Umudibala, and Matthews, yeah, it's going to be a headache.
You can look into the camera and so say goodbye to the people.
Thank you very much, Siyabonga. But it is TV Times, Well Sports Betting.
Boom.